If you've gotten lax in your prepping, this is your reminder. Things are looming. Don't be caught unprepared. Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back everyone. Today I've got a prepper pantry haul for you. A lot of people love to see my hauls, but I do get a lot of comments saying that you'd like to see where I store all this stuff that we bring in. I've actually never done a prepper pantry tour video, but I am fixing to do one soon, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. But also keep in mind that most everything we stock in our prepper pantry, we actually use regularly on a rotating basis, which is something that we should all be doing. Rotation is so important and following the principle of store what you eat and eat what you store. So a lot of what we bring in is replacing and restocking the things that we've used. There are two basic phases to building your food storage: building and maintaining. Building can be as simple as buying an extra bag of rice, box of pasta, or a few extra canned goods every week when you do your regular grocery shopping. Or it might mean keeping an eye out for sales and buying a case of something when it goes on sale. Once you've built a supply that you feel comfortable with, you should be using the oldest items in your stash and replacing them with new items that you add to the end of the rotation, and that is the maintaining phase. Both of these are very important, and keep in mind that there's always going to be some overlap. Now let's get right into it, and I'll show you what we added to our preps and our prepper pantry this week. I'm going to start right over here with this stuff on the end. This is some stuff I got from Amazon. This first thing I've got here is a label maker. Now recently in one of my videos, I showed a little taste of the system that we use to inventory our food storage. And I had a lot of people asking me about the details. Now we basically use an app to keep an inventory of what we have, and we use a label maker like this to label some things with a scannable QR code. That allows us to add and subtract things from the inventory. And so many people were asking me for the links. And when I went to look at the label maker, I noticed that they were actually on sale. And we had just been talking about the fact that it would be really helpful if we actually had two of them. For a couple of reasons. Number one, there's multiple spots in the house that we might use them. Like I use them in the kitchen to label my canning jars when I'm done my canning, but we also use them in some of our other food storage areas. And the other thing is that when we're doing a big project, when we get a big stock up haul and we're inventorying a lot of things and putting away a lot of things, we're usually using two different sizes of labels. And so having to switch back and forth between the two different sizes of labels can be kind of a pain in the butt. So I grabbed another one while they were on sale. We can use this to print out a label with a QR code on it that we've made to designate each type of food that we have in our food storage. I also grabbed a case for it because it will protect it. I can keep the label maker and the rolls of labels in this case, and it does have a handle on it so I can hang it like inside of my pantry closet or any place that I want to hang it and make sure that I have easy access to it. The next thing I've got here is a case. Now this is actually supposed to be a makeup case, but you could use it for anything, any type of kit, like keeping some of your EDC tools in or a first aid kit. It can be used for a lot of different things, and that's probably how I'm going to use this. This is the type of case that I really like, and I have a hard time finding them lately, so when I saw this one, I grabbed it. It's got this sort of 3-ring binder system. It's actually only 2 rings, but you get the idea. And so you've got all these different pages, sort of, that you can store smaller items in that fit right in here. So it can be really good for organizing smaller items. And it's also just really nice looking. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use this for. I have a lot of little cases that I keep for things, like I said, like my EDC kits or first aid kits. And anytime I need to carry some little small bits of gear, I like to have different cases available. So, and next, back here, I've got this little portable solar charger. Now I have something similar to this, but the one that I have is missing connection points. See, this one comes with 2 carabiner clips, and I'm going to show you. So this has on it these points where you can hook it, clip it like onto a backpack or something like that, because that's what I like to have these chargers for. You can see this opens up, and this is actually kind of incredible. I don't know if this is some technology I've never seen before, but you can see how absolutely thin this is. I looked at this and I thought they forgot to put the solar panels in, but I took it outside and I put it in the sun and I plugged my phone into it and it was charging. So, and this type of unit doesn't actually have a battery pack. It doesn't store power. So you're not charging this unit. You're just using this unit to collect the solar energy and then you have to plug whatever you want to charge into it. So you could plug a power pack into it if you wanted to charge that up and save the power for later, or you can plug your phone or any other type of device you have to charge, like a flashlight, a lantern, anything like that, right into here. And this was working really well to charge outside. This is not a brand I recognize, but it got some really good reviews, so I thought I would try it, and I've been happy with it so far, just in the little bit of testing that I've done. Like I said, this is incredibly thin and light. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't even look to me like traditional solar panels. And this was actually one of the smaller ones that they had. In the same listing, they had, this is 28 watts, and they had larger, you know, ones with more watts. But I thought, because I want this for, you know, portable purposes, to have in a backpack, to have in a bug out bag, things like that, and to be able to carry with me. So I wanted to have it to be as light and small as possible. So I just got the 28 watt one, and I'm thinking of it typically for charging my cell phone, which I don't need anything really big. But like I said, they do have other ones available. And the next thing I've got back here is this Sawyer filter bottle. Now this I got on clearance because you can see that the package is damaged, so I got a really good deal on this. This was from Walmart, actually, not Amazon. But this has, Sawyer filters are really great because they're inexpensive, but they're really good and effective, and they can filter 100,000 gallons of water with a very small filter. And this one actually comes built into a water bottle, so this is really kind of handy. So I was really happy to find this on clearance. But if you are looking for a good budget water filter, check into the Sawyer brand, because they have a lot of different types of filters available. They're all pretty inexpensive, although they have gotten a little bit more expensive than they were, you know, 2 years ago, just like everything else. But they are still a really good, good quality budget brand. Next, I've got these packets of meatballs. Now these I have seen on Amazon and Walmart, but I actually picked these up from Dollar General. And I have always been interested in this brand, and these are pouches, so they're retort pouches. So these will stay good for quite a while. They're portable. You don't need a can opener. This is meatballs and sauce. They have a lot of different varieties, this Hereford brand. But like I said, I've seen them online, and usually to get a decent price on them, you have to buy a case of 12. So I hadn't really ever broke down and wanted to buy a whole case. So when I found these at Dollar General, this one still has a price tag on it, $3.90. So I don't think it was a particularly great deal, but I didn't have to buy a whole case of them, so I could grab a few to try. So I got these. I think these would be great if you're packing along like little homemade MRE packs, little lunchy things to throw in your bug out bag or anything like that. You could either use pouches of pre-cooked pasta with these, or you could just eat them as is, or use some kind of crackers or something to make like little meatball snacks. I thought this was just a great high protein, lower carb option to have in my shelf stable meals to go. And then I got something else in retort pouches. This is this palmini pasta substitute. So this is a low carb, keto friendly pasta substitute made from hearts of palm. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard of it, and I just heard some people say really good things about it, that it's really pretty close to pasta as far as mouthfeel and stuff, because a lot of the low carb pasta substitutes I've tried aren't that great. So I did grab a little case of these so that I could try them. These, like I said, they're in the retort pouch as well. The expiration on these is almost 2.5 years out. So that's a really good long expiration on these. 20 calories per serving. It says 4 grams of carbs, but if you count net carbs, you can see that it's got 2 grams of fiber. So that would be only 2 grams of net carbs. So you could pair something like this with the meatballs to have a little easy to carry shelf stable meal. But I am hoping that these will be decent, because I am a pasta lover, but I really try not to eat it because I try to keep my carbs down. So if this was something that I enjoy, then I'll be super happy. Now what I've got over here next is some items for our pets. Now, you know, we're pet lovers. We have 6 dogs. We have just about as many cats. And it is very, very important to also prep for our pets, just like we prep for ourselves. And even if it's not pets, if you have any kind of livestock, even if you have chickens, ducks, poultry, you need to prepare for how you're going to take care of them if you're not able to get things from the store, because they're not going to feed you if you don't feed them. So make sure you think about your pets when it comes to prepping. You want to think about things like food and water, of course, just like humans. You want to think about medical and first aid supplies. And you also want to think about, you know, if you have to bug out or evacuate, you want to think about having evacuation supplies and an evacuation plan for your animals. So the first thing I've got here, this is actually a doggy backpack. If you have larger dogs, like we have a few dogs that are larger, you might remember our puppy Apollo that we got a little over a year ago. What we realized is since we added him to our family, we haven't really reevaluated and revamped our prepping that we have for our pets. And so we really need to do that. So I got this backpack for him. This is a really good brand and it's got some good reviews. It's basically worn like a harness and it's got a pouch on either side so that the dogs, larger dogs, can kind of help to carry some of the gear that they might need if you're leaving your home. So I'm going to have to try this on Apollo, make sure this fits him, and then start working with him to get him used to wearing something like this and using something like this. But this is a really good brand. It seems to be really high quality. It's got a belly strap underneath with really good clips, and it's got, of course, a chest strap around the front. All the straps have Velcro and a really nice clip. And then it's got a handle up here to help you handle the dog, manage the dog. It's got a nice strong clip that you can clip a leash onto. So I'm excited to try this out with my big goofball. The next thing I've got here is a water bottle, a portable travel water bottle for the dogs, or it could be for cats or really any animal that needed to have water with them. Now I have other pet water bottles, travel water bottles, but this is a different type I have not tried before that I'm excited to try. So how this one works is this top part right here is actually a bowl. It's a flexible silicone bowl that flips up. And you can see it becomes a bowl on the top. So you put the water inside, there's a straw, and then it has this button here which pops in and out, and that's going to either lock the water or allow the water to flow. So if you open it up, you can squeeze the bottle and the water will come right out into the dish, and the dog can just drink right out of the dish, dog, cat, whatever it may be. And then of course you can lock it so that the water doesn't flow back in, but when they're done drinking, you can unlock it so that the water can flow back in and you don't have to worry about wasting water, because a lot of bottles like this, once it's out into the dish, if they don't drink it all, it's not very easy to get back into the container. So this has a nice strap around it with a couple of hooks. And of course it comes with this strap so that if you want to carry it, this is like a shoulder strap or around the neck strap or whatever. But you could also put carabiners through here and just clip it onto your backpack and not have to carry it separately and things like this. So this is a pretty large one. This is 28 ounces, I believe, but they had other smaller versions. I've even seen some that have a little food container on the bottom of it, but I wanted to keep that all separate. So these are good not only for like evacuation needs, you know, if you're going to have to take off with your pets, you're going to want to make sure you have some water for them, but it's also just good for every day. If I take the dogs in the car with me, I need to have some water for them. If we go on a walk or a hike or something like that, we need to have some water for them. So this I'm excited to try out. And then next I've got some stuff back here. I talked about food, so I'm going to talk about this food first because I am really excited about this. This is freeze-dried raw food. You know that we extol the virtues of freeze-dried food for humans. Well, it's just equally as good for our pets as well. Freeze drying maintains all of the nutrients that are in the food. And a lot of people are turning to raw feeding for their pets these days because it's really kind of the most natural and healthy way for them to eat. And freeze-dried raw is going to be the easiest and safest way to feed raw food. When you're stocking food for your pets, kibble is going to be the worst way that you can store it. And it's also the least healthy for the pets. So kibble is not going to stay fresh for very long. You really can't stock up on a year's worth of kibble because it's going to get rancid. I've even had some come straight from the grocery store already smelling rancid. So the ways that you can stock up on food for your pets, canned and freeze-dried are going to be the two preferable ways for stocking up. Now this is a freeze-dried raw food, like I mentioned. This is really great. It's got beef and organs. It's real beef and real organs, 78%, and then it's got some fruits and vegetables. Dogs are not obligate carnivores. So they can have some fruits, veggies, and grains in their diet, but not a lot. Now we have a freeze dryer, and I have been planning on doing some homemade food. I did do some homemade cat food a while ago, and I did a lot of research in order to get ready to make that food and to make that video because you really, really need to understand their nutrition. And there's a ton of recipes out there for homemade cat food and homemade dog food, but they're not all going to be healthy options for the animals because our pets don't have the same nutritional needs that we do, and they have some very specific nutritional needs. So if you're just cooking something for your pet that you're going to give them occasionally, then it's not really that big of a deal. But if it's going to be a regular food source for them, if it's not done with their nutritional needs in mind, then it's not going to be healthy for them and sustain them over a long period of time. So this particular food, it's not packaged really for long-term storage. Just like a lot of the food that we purchase, it might be a food that can last a really long time, but we might need to repackage it for long-term storage. Freeze-dried food can last 25 years if it's packaged properly. We are going to start feeding this right away to get them used to it and to see how we like it. And then if we start stocking up on more, then we would repackage it for long-term storage. But this can last quite a while just in the bag that it's in. So really, if you're feeding on a rotating basis, you could stock up a year's worth of food and not have to even repackage it with this food. We were really drawn to this particular company because of their philosophies of keeping pets healthy with holistic nutrition and wellness products and not cutting corners. The company was actually founded by a guy who left the traditional commercial pet product industry because he didn't like how they were being asked to cut corners with quality in order to keep costs down. So he started his own company with a vow never to do that and to put pets' health and well-being first and foremost. And that really spoke to me because I've seen firsthand how those cheap commercial products can harm our pets. We had a cat who passed away from kidney failure. And he wasn't even an old cat. I remember thinking, why did this happen? And doing some research after and finding out how the food that we'd been feeding him, there was so many reports of pets who had kidney failure on this particular food. And I just felt so bad, and I promised to do better for our pets from then on. So this company's pet foods are natural, they're holistic, they're made with human-grade ingredients, they've got no poultry byproducts, no corn, wheat, or soy. They've got none of the bad stuff and the fillers that are in so many other products out there. Now, I'm a big fan of subscribe and save programs, or whatever programs are available to save money. I used to be so wary of things like that because I didn't want to get locked into anything just in case my circumstances changed. But what I've realized is that so many companies have programs like this, and they all work pretty much the same. So they all allow you to make changes, to skip shipments, and to cancel whenever you want to or need to. So it's really just a good, worthwhile way to save money. So these guys have an easy ship program, which is their version of a subscribe and save. So I'm able to set up the easy ship to help keep us on schedule with the food. And it also lets me get free shipping just by adding a few additional items with my food. Because me, I hate paying shipping. So I added this pack of products to get a bit of a discount on the products themselves and to get free shipping on my entire order, including the dog food. So this is a core 4-pack. The idea with these 4 supplements is that it's designed to prevent most of the reasons that pet parents take their fur babies to the vets. So keeping them healthy naturally and holistically so that we don't have to depend on the vet, which is really an important part of preparedness as well. You never know when traditional veterinary care might not be available. So we've got the Gastro Pro Plus, which has probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes to help with digestive issues, which we have one dog in particular who has been having a lot of these kind of issues. I know this is going to help all of our dogs though, because so much of the immune system is in the gut. And then of course we've got the Alaskan salmon and pollock oil. This is something that I like to have my pets on every day. That's one neat thing about these products, incidentally, is that they each have this little seal on the product and it shows if it's good for dogs or cats or both. So the fish oil is good for their skin and coats. And then there is the Joint Support Plus, which is just what it says. We have one dog who's elderly. She's like 15 and she does have a hard time getting around. So I know this is going to help her, but I actually just recently found out that you can actually, or should actually, be proactive about their joint health and not wait until they already have issues. So if you can supplement them while they're still doing well, it can prevent those issues from even occurring. So, and then lastly, the CBD supplement, which is just a brilliant all-around supplement. It helps with so many things, anxiety being one of them. We do have a couple of dogs that have some issues with anxiety, but this is also good for allergies, just aches and pains, all kinds of things. So it really is just a rock star supplement. So altogether, the Core 4 pack unlocked the free shipping for my entire order, but I also grabbed one of these little shakers. This is something that's meant to be added onto food in small amounts to entice your pets to eat if they're being finicky or something or not feeling well. This can be super, super important in emergency situations because when animals are stressed, especially if they are out of their element, like if you do have to leave your home, they sometimes don't want to eat. So this can help entice them to eat their food in situations like that. So I like to always keep something like this with my pet first aid supplies, my bug out bags, things like that. But we also have a couple dogs who are just like that naturally. Like I always have to put something on their food to entice them to eat just every day. So what I usually put on is things that maybe aren't so good for them. So finding something like this that actually adds vitamins, minerals, and superfoods and things like that to make the food more appealing really made me happy. I'm going to have links down in the description box if you want to check out any of these products. If you're a pet owner, we also have a coupon code that you can use on your first order. A couple of coupons actually. So if you're interested, you can text PETS to my number that I'm going to put down on the screen, and I can send you those coupons and any more coupons or special deals for pet products that we may have in the future. And one final pet product I got here, this is for our guinea pigs. We have guinea pigs in addition to cats, dogs, ducks, chickens, and all of the other things we have. So this is just a vitamin C supplement. Guinea pigs and humans, I believe, are the only two mammals that don't produce their own vitamin C. So they really need vitamin C to remain healthy. So this is one of the ways that we give them their vitamin C. So we try to keep plenty of these on hand. If we were to ever get in a situation where we couldn't get their fresh fruits and veggies especially, this would be really important. Next, I've got some pasta. I've got spaghetti here. I've got 6 of those, and I've got the penne. And this is the Barilla Protein Plus. I have been buying this for a long time. It's a spaghetti or pasta with added protein. It's got higher protein because it uses things like chickpeas and stuff in it to add more protein. Pasta is one of my favorite things to have in our prepper pantry because it lasts for just about forever. I don't even have to do anything special to it. Depending on where you live, you might have to protect it a little bit more if you get any kind of bugs or anything like that. But pasta will last a very long time. It's pretty easy to cook, especially if you learn one dish pasta recipes. And for my family especially, everyone in the family likes pasta. There's nobody who doesn't like it. So it's an easy way to feed people. It's inexpensive generally. But if you buy specialty pastas like this, it's a little bit more expensive. For as long as I can remember, I've been buying whole wheat pasta, this protein pasta, and the veggie pasta, and I mix them equally. So I will open up a pack of each and mix them in my containers where I keep my pastas, and that's what we use. These protein ones have been getting harder to find, and they've also gotten a lot more expensive. So I keep an eye out for deals, and I grab a bunch whenever I can find them. Next, I've got these seasonings. I just saw somebody talking about these. You know I love seasonings. It's important to have a lot of different seasonings in your prepper pantry so that you don't have to get sick of what you're eating from just eating the same thing over and over again. You can take those basic prepper pantry foods and make a whole bunch of different dishes out of them if you have enough seasonings. Somebody said these were really good. They are fresh herbs and spices infused with sea salt. So I thought these would be good to try. I love the bottles they come in. They stack like this. I think I'll even probably use these bottles for something else after I'm done using these seasonings. And of course, these are American-made artisanal seasonings. So I'm really excited to try these. I also got another big container. These are 1 pound, I believe. 20 ounces, so a little more than a pound. This is just plain chili powder. This is a seasoning that I use quite a lot. It's one of my most used seasonings, so I stock up on a lot of this. If you've ever seen me make chili or meal in a jar, you know that I like to use chili seasoning when I actually make chili, but I have a lot of other recipes that use chili powder as a seasoning. And I really prefer to stock up on my seasonings in bulk and just transfer them into smaller containers because it seems to save a lot of money. So here I've got a few boxes of chicken helper. This is just something that I happen to see. It's a chicken fried rice flavor, and I'd never tried this before. We don't tend to use these helpers as much as we used to, but they can be handy to have, on your pantry shelf in case you need a quick and easy meal, whether it's an emergency or whether it's just an everyday, day that you don't have a lot of time to cook. You can use canned or freeze-dried meats in these so that you don't have to worry about having fresh chicken. That can make it a lot easier. And we have a lot of family members who really like fried rice, so I just thought this would be a good one to try. And next I've got a few things that I ordered from Azure Standard. You know I love to order from Azure Standard. It's basically like a giant online kind of health food store. They work through drops, meaning you order your things and they're shipped to a local meeting place. Mine is like 10 minutes up the road from me, so it's really great. They have great prices, and if you care about the quality of your food, everything they have a lot of organic stuff. Everything they have is non-GMO. They don't allow things like artificial colors in anything that they carry, or a lot of the chemicals that we're all trying to avoid. They just don't allow it in their food. And they have a ton of stuff: food, supplements, cleaning supplies. I'll put a link to them also down in the description box as well, because they're a great place to shop. Like I mentioned, we try to keep ourselves healthy. We try to keep our immune systems up and our digestion working healthy without having to use traditional medicine. So These are a couple things that I bought to try. This is there's pill supplements. So this is a fermented probiotic greens. 7 superfood greens with prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic activity. So I thought this was sounded really good. I'm going to try these. And then this is another one that is advanced microflora delivery. It's a probiotic. It keeps fungal levels in check. Things like yeast and stuff like that. Intestinal and digestive cleansing, healthy immune function. It's really, really great for you. Just like the one that I got for the pets, it's a combination of probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes for your digestion, for your immune system. A lot of your immune system is in your gut, and so keeping your gut healthy is going to do a lot for your overall health. And keeping ourselves healthy and well naturally is a big part of our preparedness. And I also like to keep things like this stocked a little bit ahead so that if we're ever in a time when we are eating our emergency food only, we can't get to the store, we can't buy things like usual, we have what we need to try to keep ourselves healthy. And then the last thing I got from Azure back here is a 25-pound bag of bulgur wheat. So bulgur is cracked wheat. It's been partially cooked, dehydrated, and then cracked. So it cooks a lot more quickly than traditional wheat berries, but it's really still whole wheat. So it's got a ton of fiber. I think it's 6 grams of fiber in a serving of the bulgur wheat. And just like instant rice and couscous and all of those things that I like to use because they are so quick cooking, you just have to boil water and pour it into the bulgur, and that's it. Let it set and it will soften up. I have a great salad recipe that I make with this. It's my favorite thing that I make with bulgur is this salad, but you can also use it as like a side dish, kind of like a rice. You can season it with broth and things like that and different vegetables and make a side dish out of it. And this, like I said, was a really great way to buy this at a really great price. And if I package this up in Mylar or mason jars or something like that, it's going to last for a very, very long time. Next, I've got a bunch of these Knorr pasta sides Alfredo because I found these on clearance in my Walmart. I'd never even seen these. They're family size, 2 times the regular size. I don't know if my store regularly carries these and I've just never seen them, or if this is something they don't regularly carry and that's why they had to put them on clearance because they got something in that they didn't have shelf space for. But I got these for $1.25 a package, which I thought was great considering it's 2 times the regular size. I would typically make 2 packages if I were to make something like this. This can be pretty good for emergencies. The only thing you want to note on something like this is that it does call for milk as an ingredient, of course, and some margarine or butter or oil. But we always have ghee and oils in our prepper pantry, and we have milk, shelf-stable milk. We have Tetra Pak boxes. We have powdered instant milk. We have canned evaporated milk. We are all set. And some people will say that they have made these without the milk and they've been just fine as well. So they can be a good emergency food because they just have to boil for a few minutes. They have to just take a little bit of water, maybe a little bit of milk. And if you wanted to make them more hearty, you could throw in some, like I said, canned or freeze-dried chicken to make these hearty in an emergency, or you can just have them as a side dish, or you can just eat them as a pasta dish. Next over here, I've got a bunch of toothbrushes. You want to make sure you have plenty of toothbrushes in your emergency supplies because that is something I definitely wouldn't want to have to live without if we weren't able to get things from the store for any period of time, whether it's because of a massive collapse or a long-term grid down or even just supply chain issues. Things happen. We've learned that the hard way over the last few years. So I got 4 of these travel toothbrushes. These are the ones that fold down into their handle. The handle flips open. The top part of the toothbrush flips down into the handle. So that's like a case without having to have a separate case. And it makes it into a small package. So they're great for travel, but they're also good if you want to stick it in your bug out bag. It's in a small package. I like to keep them in the back of my car in case you end up stuck overnight somewhere, or you're just dropping your kids off somewhere. You know, they didn't plan to spend the night. They asked to spend the night. You've got a toothbrush for them. So this is the kind of travel toothbrushes that I like to stock, the ones that fold into their handle. And then I did get some packs of these Dr. Fresh. I've been buying these for a long, long time. There's 6 toothbrushes in a pack. I got 1 pack of soft and 3 packs of firm. So altogether, that's 24 toothbrushes. These for the longest time were $1 a pack at Walmart. So for me to get 6 toothbrushes for $1 is awesome. I think they've gone up in price. I believe I paid $1.50 for these. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it's still a good deal for 6 toothbrushes. They're great, so you have extras on hand in case of emergencies in a long time situation when you aren't able to get them from the store. But they're also good for unexpected overnight guests that you have in your own home. You know, your kids have a friend over and they forgot to pack a toothbrush, or somebody drops their toothbrush in the toilet and they need a clean one right away. These are great for that. Next, I've just got a case of the SpaghettiOs with meatballs. You definitely want to make sure that you have ready to eat foods in your prepper pantry. And what that means is they don't require any water to prepare them, like something like these would, or the hamburger helper or the pasta that I had. These are ready to eat. They don't require water, and you could even just open the can up and eat them just at room temperature if you needed to, if you couldn't cook. So this is a great thing to have on hand. I picked these SpaghettiOs with meatballs. We keep a lot of different things like this on hand. This is just one that everyone in my family will eat, and everyone kind of does eat. So like I said, we run down on these a lot more often, so I restock them a lot more often. I've been buying them from Amazon in the case like this because typically with the subscribe and save, I can end up getting these for cheaper for the Campbell's can than I can for the store brand Walmart. So, but pick something that your family likes and will eat, but just make sure you have something that you can eat without any kind of cooking, heating, or adding water if necessary. It could be chunky soups, it could be chilies, it could be pastas like this. It could be, if you want something healthier, go to Azure Standard. They have canned goods like this that are healthier, they're organic, they're, don't have any kind of GMOs and things like that. They're going to cost more, sure, but that's just the choice you have to make. If you want healthier foods, you usually have to pay a premium for it. And then the last food thing I have over here is these maple brown sugar oatmeals. I did get 3 of these 20 packs of the maple brown sugar instant oatmeal. It's a little bit less cost effective and a little bit less long lasting to get the flavored packets of instant. But for me, we store both. We store regular oats and then we store these because these are super easy. My kids love them. I don't have to add anything to them. No sweetener, nothing like that. And you just have to boil water and pour it in and they're ready to go. And like I said, we do go through these pretty quickly. My kids eat these on an everyday basis. So I have to restock a lot more quickly and we tend to keep a lot of these on hand. And then behind the food, what I've got here is some canning jars, but these are actually the Mainstays brand that you can get at Walmart. I don't think I've ever tried this brand before, but in one of my canning groups, people were talking about these and a bunch of people said they'd had good luck with them. So I actually happened to see them at my store after that. I don't know if I've ever seen them at my store before. So I thought I would try them. So I got some pint, some quart, and some half gallon. I will say one thing I do like about them is that they have some smooth sides because I did open one pack up and try them right out. I used to actually look for the smooth-sided jars that Ball made, but I haven't been able to find them lately. So I do like that these have a couple of smooth sides. It's important to have canning jars in your prepper pantry for a number of different reasons, even if you're not a canner. You can store dry goods in these. If you dehydrate or you freeze dry things, you can store them in these glass jars. They're really good and airtight. They keep out rodents. You can store dry goods, beans, rice, anything like that you can store in jars like this. But even if you're not a canner, I really, really urge you to learn just the basics of canning because number one, it's going to be a money saving option for you if you can purchase things like meats on sale and can them and not have to store them in your freezer because the freezer costs money to run and it's dependent on the grid. So if the grid goes down, you can lose your food. And that's another reason, besides saving money and being a lot more self-sufficient, that I recommend you know how to can, because if you lose power and either you don't have a generator or your generator has run out of fuel and you can't get more, you're going to start losing everything in your freezers. So if you know how to can and you have some sort of a gas burner or something like that, you can start canning up your meats and vegetables and things from your freezer so that you don't lose them. So that can save you money in the long run. It's just a good skill to have, and it's really not as hard as some people make it out to be, or some people expect it to be. So canning is a really great skill to learn, but whether you can or not, I urge you to have some canning jars in your prepper pantry for all those reasons that I just said. So let me know down in the comments, have you ever tried these Mainstays jars? And if so, what has your experience with them been? How do you like these compared to the other brands of jars that you've used? That's what we've added to our prepper pantry this week. Let me know down in the comments what you're stocking up on and if you found any good deals lately. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a dog or cat emoji down in the comments. And if you like watching haul videos, check out this playlist next. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.